Hey everyone, and welcome to the Null channel. Here on this channel, we like to learn about things and keep it a little entertaining while we do it. So that's being said, today I've been getting a lot of questions about Kubernetes operators. So I set out on a mission to make the 3 craziest operators I could think of. Now, they're not that crazy, but it came down to that while a lot of people had been asking me to make videos on Kubernetes operators, it was really difficult to actually make an operator that did something interesting and not take a couple months to create. Because the problem comes down to making an operator takes exactly 5 minutes. Making it do anything interesting at all takes several weeks or more. So what could I do? Well, in this episode, this is actually the first part of a 3-part series. This is going to be the showcase where I show you 3 completely stupid and ridiculous operators that I made. And then the next episode on this is going to actually break down these operators and show you the interesting parts and exactly how I did them. And this way you can do them in your own operator if you're trying to make something yourself. But wait, Merrick, you said that this was a 3-part. Well, the 3rd part is going to need the help from you all. I'm going to need your guys' help to make the 3rd part. The first thing I need you to do that is comment down below with your craziest Kubernetes operator idea. Now, it could actually be a legitimate idea. It doesn't have to be silly and stupid like my current operators. Just whatever you'd like to see, leave me a comment below. Now, what I'm going to need you to do after that is I'm going to pick my favorite 5 and I'm going to open up pools on Discord, Twitter, as well as here on YouTube. I'm going to need you guys to vote on which one of those operators you would like to see me code live on a 4+ hour stream with chatting and hanging out and learning and building. Whichever one of those operators gets picked by you guys. So if that sounds interesting and sounds fun, go ahead and stick around, hit that subscribe button so you can see this entire operator journey we'll be doing over the next couple of months. Okay, so back to the completely silly and stupid operator I built. My favorite is this first one, and as far as I can tell, this is the very first cloud-native Kubernetes first video game. Have you ever wanted to have a little game with your Kubernetes cluster? Wanted to look like you were working, but did not actually want to work? Enter the next level of gaming, what I call cube style. I'm sorry for the puns. I hope that this is not needed to be said, but I wanted to state right here, none of these should be used in production at all. They are for fun. Run them in Minikube or Kind or wherever, I don't really care, but these are not production operators. All right. So this first operator is the good old classic game of Hangman. This is where you get only so many guesses before someone dies. I love this as it was actually quite a fun operator to build. We got to manage 2 custom resources. The first is this game object that lets you start as well as check on the current progress of a running game. The second is this guess custom resource. This was cool because the guesses are watched by games and the game's reconciliation loop gets called whenever a new guess is created for that game. One of my favorite parts about all of this is it lets you use and understand the finalizers a bit. I know most of you have probably run into the issue where a finalizer is stuck running and a namespace is not cleaned up or, just whatever because of this finalizer. Well, this game lets us demo a lot of how-to stuff. So when you delete a game, it uses this dreaded finalizer to clean up all of the guesses from your cluster because you're going to be creating a bunch of custom resources. Sure, again, it's a stupid operator, but it shows you how to do a lot of cool things you might want to do in your real Kubernetes operator. This is a really good all-around project project for somebody wanting to learn to build a Kubernetes operator. Okay, so for this one, I just wanted to show you really quickly with the game how you can actually get it running yourself. So you'll see that I have 2 tabs open, and they are in the stupid Kube operators game directory. So in this very first one, we're going to do 2 things quickly. First, we're going to make install. And this is going to install all of our custom resource definitions. And then we can go ahead and run make run. Now our custom operator is running in our cluster at this point, and you can see it's started and it's working. So we have 2 custom operators, one's for the game and one's for the guess. All right, well, now let's start by making a new game. Now I have some example files out there, so you can just go ahead and use those. We're going to use kubectl apply-f examples folder, and then here we're going to do the game first and apply the game. All right, so now the game is created. We can go ahead and check on it. Okay, get games, and we see this is the first game that we've made. This is actually the name I gave it, so we can go ahead and check on it. Oh, YAML. We want it to go out YAML. So here's the really cool things. This is how many guesses that you get. This is the solution. So you can't see the solution. It is stored in a secret, which is really cool. And one of the cool things about this is what you currently have, and the phase is currently pending. It will be in pending until you make your first guess. We could update this. If you want to do that, make a pull request for it. So let's make our first guess. We are going to use this guess. So let's edit it. So let's go to examples, and then we want to go to the guess. We want to guess E first. I'm pretty sure that's the most popular English character. So we're going to guess E. You can make it any name. It just has to be unique per game. All right, so now let's apply that. And let's check on our game. So we can just run this, and we can see that we've made 1 guess, and here's where our E's are. Super cool. And we can continue playing this game until we hit our max number of guesses. All right, so let's update this with an O. That's a last vowel. Last vowel I know of. Probably was more apt to be a vowel than Y was. Let's check our game. Oh, we didn't apply it. Let's apply that. Now let's check our game. Oh no, we went over our guesses and we have failed. So harsh. The game is finished. It is done. Let's do one last thing. Let's do get guesses, and we can actually see all of our guesses that we made. So this is really cool. And like I had previously said, we implemented finalizers. So instead of having to clean up all of these guesses, we can just delete the game and it will clean up everything for us. Now, before we do that, if you notice here, the solution was always stored in the secret. Let's go ahead and check that out. So we're going to kubectl get secrets. And you'll see it's right here, but we can't see it. So if you know anything about secrets, this is kind of on purpose. So to get it, let's do this. We're going to do get secrets. This is our first secret. And then if we just run this, again, we still won't be able to see it. What we can do is that there is data, and it has one in the data. So let's go ahead and get that data. We're just going to use JSON path really quickly here. This is the easiest thing. And you can just do this really quickly like this. Equals, we're going to make our JSON path here and data. And done. All right. And now you're going to see that the phrase is this. Oh, this isn't the phrase. We know this. We know the phrase looked somewhat like this right here. 2 words. This is because it's base 64 encoded. So let's actually just isolate this down to the phrase. And as you can see, we now have just the phrase, and we're going to pipe this to base 64, and we're going to decode. All right, that was what we were supposed to be guessing. All right, so at this point, we have one last thing to do, and that's going to be to clean all of this up. So again, as you can see, we have guesses hanging out here. And we could delete each and every one of them, but what I have done is implemented a finalizer. And so let's do get games, and we see that we only have 1 game currently running. So let's go ahead and delete that. All right, so let's do get games, and we'll see that the game has cleaned up. But if we do get guesses, there are also no resources because it deleted all of the things that it owned, which were all these games and secrets. This game actually has a lot of the core concepts you'll see in a real operator. So this is the first CNCF Kubernetes game. Sadly, they did not accept my talk for my KubeCon talk called Metal Gear Cubed, the Art of Kubernetes Operator Gaming. But alas, maybe next year they will be a little more open-minded and accept that talk. Do remember, if you want more technical breakdown of this operator, hit subscribe and stick around for next week as I will go line by line over, well, not every line, but how to do each of the really important things like watch for different resources or implement a finalizer. Okay, my next operator does something that could actually be useful, but is entirely not useful how I wrote it. And it's called the labeler. You give it a label, and it labels every pod you start with that label. This is really not useful, but it is a useful example on how you could use it to update and manage other resources that's not part of your custom resource. It's interesting because the mapping of new pods to labels is a one to many, or really in this case, one to all. Now, why is this stupid as is? You could do something like this, something that could smart label stuff according to a bunch of fancy logic, and it could be really useful. But alas, it doesn't. It just slaps this label on everything. So let's jump into our last one. This one is called Potty Two-Face. And the interesting thing I wanted to show you here was that it does not have a custom resource definition itself. That's right. You don't have to have a CRD. A lot of the time, it is useful to store your own state and have that custom resource. But don't feel trapped into having that because you don't actually have to have it, and you can write your own controller without a single custom resource. Now, Potty Two-Face, you might have guessed, he watches pods and he flips a coin, and if it's head, the pod gets to live. If it's tails, it gets deleted. Right there, no logs, nothing, just deletes it. It's harsh. Too bad Podman is not part of this episode to save all the innocent pods. And that's it. 3 incredibly stupid operators. Remember, let me know all of your ideas that you would like to see for the live stream. You get 2 weeks to give your ideas before voting starts. And then remember to hit that subscribe button, stick around to see the breakdown of each of these, as well as be around for that live stream where we're going to hang out, we're going to make an operator, and it's going to be fantastic. Remember, these are all open source. If you would like to expand on them, if you'd like to use them, if you would like to make a PR to them as a learning and as a introduction into open source, go ahead and use them. I'll review your code and I will make comments and accept pull requests that fix things. All right, that's it for today. Remember, if you like this video, please go ahead and like and subscribe. If you did not like this video, go ahead, hit that subscribe button, stick around, and see if these videos get any better for science.